talking to Ledbetter and Rice after the game about the naysayers and the doubters, especially the defense. Like how much do you all use like outside fuel and what people like us are saying bad about y'all?
To be honest, like I don't really hear much about it. You know what I'm saying? Kirby, that's kind of a tactic I say they'll use and throw stats up there and kind of certain scripts and things like that. And it is fuel. It does add fuel to the fire. And I just feel like we never really get into that. Like we just work on ourselves each day.
Where do they put it? I'm sorry.
It'll be in team meetings and things like that.
Like on the wall or like on like
on a projector.
PowerPoint projector
like on a PowerPoint.
So there's no literal like bulletin board material anymore. It's something they post up in meetings and stuff.
You guys even know what a bulletin board is anymore?
I do. Actually.
Yeah, okay.
I do actually.
I mean, everything now is whiteboards. And nobody sticks anything in a bulletin board.
You guys have been on the road for a while, obviously. Now coming back for a big game with Auburn, prime time. You know, how does that kind of feel to be back home and taking on a team that you know pretty well?
It's always good, man, getting back in between the hedges with the fans, best fans in the nation. They give us a really big spark, and they still give us that spark on away games too, because they travel so well. But it's just nothing like being at home.
And in terms of Auburn, obviously it's a team you guys are pretty familiar with. You know, does that give you guys an edge at all, or does it matter? Or?
I mean, we look at film just like they look at film, so I guess it's however you want to look at it. But we kind of know the game plan is kind of similar, like year to year. Me being here 4 years, the game plan is kind of similar when we play Auburn. So I feel like I got a pretty good jump on it.
You know these guys, like you said, really, really well. You're talking about what Auburn does. They do all that misdirection and everything. I think I might have heard you talk about it like eye candy or something like that. I mean, just what is the difficulty in preparing for a Gus Malzahn Auburn team, especially as an inside linebacker?
You just have to be locked in mentally, because being the inside guys, we're kind of the guys that's got to get everybody else lined up. So you got to be really locked in mentally and see all types of formations. And I just feel like once the faster you can get lined up against these guys, the better chance you have against them.
How much do you think their big plays come out of teams just not lining up quick enough and getting misaligned? I mean, how big of a deal is that if a guy's lined up 2 feet to the left of where he's supposed to be?
It's really important, and that is how they get people, catch people off guard, and that's what makes the preparation for this team so much harder. And you have to really key in so much more on the little nuggets. You know what I'm saying? The little nuggets that they do. So. It's just a big week mentally for us.
Is there any problem at all having already clinched that you know you're going to the SEC championship game no matter what happens? Does that affect you mentally at all when it comes to these other games? You still got, I mean, obviously Auburn.
When you play for a guy named Kirby Smart, that's never really a worry in the world, man. He never lets you get comfortable. Because at the end of the day, yes, the East is one, but at the end of the day, like, we're playing for something bigger. And I feel like the team has a pretty good idea of that and a pretty good sense of that. So everybody's been working their butts off.
I want to get your take on two guys out on the edge, two younger guys filling in for DeAndre Walker sometimes, Brenton Cox and Robert Beal. What have you seen from their progression, how they've been kind of stepping up a little bit this year?
The plays you see them making in the game and everything, those plays really come from Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those guys have been practicing really hard lately. Those guys have been practicing a lot better than early in the year, and you can see it. They've been flashing and sparking on the field, making plays. So I just feel like those guys preparing better and they're playing better.
Tyndall busted through there and got a sack in the last game, and we're seeing a little bit more of them here and there. You guys seem very similar physically and that kind of stuff. What are you seeing out of Tyndall and his track? You know,
lightning fast guy, smart guy, a really smart guy. Kind of picks up on it pretty fast, and you just have to get that confidence. Have to get his confidence up.
What was the difference in the run defense this last game, and do you have any doubt that you guys can carry it over?
Definitely. That's always the goal, get better each week. But I just feel like it was the attention to detail, the willingness, the want to. I feel like what's the difference. Like you said, there was a lot of stuff going around in the air, talking about we couldn't stop the run and stuff. So that was it was just a want to, just a, you know what I'm saying, a mentality that you gotta have.
Auburn hasn't necessarily run the ball week in, week out like they probably are used to. What are you seeing? You talked about watching film. What issues have they had? What are teams doing to stop them?
I mean, they've been pretty successful running the ball, but they probably haven't been running it 30, 40 times a game like we're probably used to them seeing. So that's when those different formations come in, the unbalanced formations and the screens and the draws and the quick passes and the fast tempo. Like they have a lot of weapons on their team. So you kind of have to be ready and prepared for a lot of things when you play Auburn.
I hope you haven't missed this, but we asked Kirby about black jerseys tonight. We don't know. You know, he that says, you know, you don't need them to get excited for Auburn. What is it? Does it do anything for players? I mean, I guess you were there when they played at Louisiana Lafayette.
Right.
Warren, what do the players think about alternate jerseys?
I mean, it's just different. It's just different. It's not your occasional red. It's not your occasional white. I mean, the fans love it. It's just, I don't know. It's
Does
just
it bring
something to go
added juice
into
to
it.
the players, do you think?
I mean, I personally don't think so. But I mean, for different guys, it probably does different things. You never know.
What about recruiting? I mean, you were once a high-profile recruit. I mean, people talk about Oregon and all the uniform. Does it have an effect on younger players?
Definitely, I think so.
Why is that?
That's what the players are into. They're into uniforms. They're into the fans. They're into the spotlight of things. So, I feel like it's big for recruiting.
When did it get
Goes
big?
away.
Well, when did it get big? When did you kind of get over? I got to believe when you first got here, and they give you guys equipment, shoes, shirts. I mean, I got to think for a while that's pretty cool. When does it start to get, I don't want to say old, but routine for you?
I mean, it kind of wear off when you get to camp, and no matter how much gear and things you get, you still got to go practice the next day. So that was easy. I mean, it is what it is. Like, those guys are there, and everything is there, and that just goes into being at a university of this magnitude, and that's across the board.
You mentioned Auburn's offense, and obviously they have. You talked about the screens and the passes, quick passes, things like that. They have some speedy wide receivers. I think they have one guy who's like a track star or something like that. What's the challenge of that? You know, especially running sideline to sideline and just slowing those guys down.
I just feel like that's kind of. Personally, I feel like that's a way to attack our defense because we're so fast sideline to sideline. So things like reverses and things like throwbacks and screens and stuff, or trying to get guys over pursuing. I just feel like we have to be a great inside out defense. Can't cross the ball, can't pass the ball, and 11 people to the ball. Like the more the merrier.
Any more questions?